Hello, everybody. It looks like this group is made up of wise people, so I feel a little reticent in talking. But still, let me talk about our group, which is called Connect to Heal. This is a cancer support group, and it's founded on the premise of on the biochemical link between mind and body. There is a communication network which redefines our health and disease, empowering individuals with new responsibility, more control over their lives. I wonder how many of us understand the part a mind plays in our journey towards wellness. Actually, I read somewhere that mind is body and body is mind. At Connect to Heal, we believe that mind matters in cancer care. So towards that goal, we focus on providing unwavering support to cancer patients and families during their journey through diagnosis, treatment, and recovery. We also strive to improve their quality of life of those affected with cancer by offering emotional and practical assistance. Our mission is to empower cancer patients to find hope and strength in their fight, in their adversity, and never feel alone in their fight with the disease. So our program consists of periodical meetings where our members share, encourage each other to continue with their treatment and look with positivity on the wellness that they experience. Then we also have awareness program to inform people how to be aware of the changes that undergoes in their body and to seek medical help if there is something that's bothering them. We have conducted many breast screening camps, and we also have a lot of talks. Now, with this introduction, let me go on to the main topic of the day. And Ms Ramani, she is the deputy director. She has agreed to spend this 1 hour with us, telling us how to keep our mind active. A short introduction about her. She's the Deputy Director of Dementia Care at Nightingale Medical Trust. She has an MBA in Health Services. She's a Master in Clinical Neuroscience, trained in physical and cognitive activity for the elderly, trained to undertake neuropsychological assessment, psychiatric screening, and care planner. She is certified by Alzheimer's Institute of Australia, and she has 8 years experience in managing elderly and dementia care people. Ma'am, please take over and let's hear about your experience and how to keep our mind active.
Thank you. Thank you, ma'am. I'm really humbled. Thank you so much for that lovely introduction. And it's so lovely to know about the work that Connect to Heal is doing. It's a beautiful name also for the cause that you are connected to. Can I be allowed to share my screen?
Yeah, I have made you the host. Please check if you can share.
Yeah, I can. Thank you.
All right.
Yeah, I hope my screen is visible. So yeah, so I'm going to talk about promoting healthy aging, and I was very surprised to see some of my active aging members also in this group. It is so lovely to see them. And they are very much aware about the topic that I'm going to talk about. They must be even be remembering in their sleep about the topic that I'm going to touch upon about healthy aging, because they are our ambassadors and they're part of this particular program that Nightingale's Medical Trust runs. So when we are talking about healthy aging, I think that why do we need to change the way we age is something that is a question that I keep pondering. Many times when we say that somebody has lived up to the age of 70, 80, 90, 100, it is supposed to be one of the very significant success stories. But when we look at articles on aging, the heading would be aging is a global challenge. Aging is something we are not prepared for. It's going to really hit us economically. We really have to plan for it. So aging somehow in many different ways is presented with a negative contour. And we need to understand why is that. So many times it's because when we talk about people living longer, when people live for more years, there are more people. And when there are more people who are old, there is more diseases. And when there is more diseases, there is more cost for caring. And since there is more cost, it's challenging. That's why aging is challenging. This we call it as accumulation effect. And we were advocating for care for elders. So we say elders are there. They are going to become more in numbers and they have a lot of issues. So it is essential that we care for elders. That is the old model. But then what we are saying is, we are saying that's perhaps a model that has become old. We need to look at something else, which is called healthy aging, wherein we are talking about, yes, there are people who are living longer. There are more number of people who are living longer. There are risks of disease. But then how do we ensure that the risk of disease is reduced and people are in better physical and emotional health? That's what healthy aging refers to. So our idea of healthy aging comes from the fact that most of the diseases that we talk about right now, which are chronic, like diabetes or hypertension, or we talk about cholesterol, or we are talking about pulmonary disorders like upper respiratory tract infections, all of this, most of it is actually borne by the elderly people, whether we talk about osteoarthritis or neurodegenerative condition, even cancer, a cause that Connect Heal is connected to. Now, these are conditions, most of the people who are affected by these conditions are elderly. And elderly need not suffer from one single condition. Many times there is multimorbidities. People may not just only have diabetes. People may not just have only hypertension. They may have combination of conditions for which they may require a long-term treatment. And due to this, the cost of care for an elderly person becomes more. But what we need to understand is many of these conditions can be managed better if we understand the risk factors and we know how to deal with these risk factors. So there are two kinds of health that we need to talk about. One is curative health, one is preventive health. Curative health is when the person gets that condition, you have to treat it. You have to manage that condition. That is curative health. While preventive health is when you try to prevent that condition and you spend much, much lesser. In a particular survey, it was said that people usually spend 57% towards curative health and less than 3% towards preventive health. While that 3% of spending that we do on preventive health can actually reduce the care cost by 61%. But many of us do not really spend on preventive health. This also comes from an experience that I did during my doctorate studies in Australia, where we were looking at healthy aging and how people perceive healthy aging. I remember there used to be the group of elders who used to come to the park to spend their time on Saturday. So they used to sit together, they used to share a drink and stuff like that. So we went to them and we said, we have got some very nice biomechanical shoes and some fitness tracker for you. It's going to cost you about, say, 5,000 rupees. I'm just giving you a random number. I tell them that you take this shoe and this tracker, and I want you to walk half an hour every day so that you don't get diabetes 3 years down the line. In a group of 20, it is likely that none of the 20 people will actually buy that idea. But after 3 years, it is highly likely that I may find 15 people having diabetes and spending 5,000 rupees a year on just medication for diabetes. So that is the importance that we actually give to preventive health and investment on preventive health. So healthy aging is a concept where we are trying to imbibe that preventive health is actually equally important as curative health, if not more. So what are we saying through healthy aging? We are saying when you have elderly people who are active, who are doing more activities, then they have better quality of life. When they have better quality of life, they are productive, they can carry on with their work, they can be independent, so there is more wealth. And when they have more wealth and they are doing more activities, they may spend less on their medical expenses, so there is cost reduction. When your elderly people are not dependent, they are not unhealthy, then there are more options, there are more opportunities. So we are saying move from care for elders to a new model called active aging. So that is the model that we are trying to promote. Even just not we, anybody right now internationally is a believer of healthy aging or active aging, because aging by itself is a very graceful process. Many times what happens is in India, especially in India, the whole kind of conversation around aging has a very negative connotation. So if you look at old age home or senior citizen stay facilities or something like that, you should look at their logo or you should look at their print material. They will always have an elderly person with a stick and maybe a hand to care for them. But that's not how all elderly are. When we started this call, I remember seeing a few people from our active aging centers who must be in their 75 and 80s, and I'm not at all ashamed to say that they're more active than I am. So that's not how the elderly people are today. But the perception about old age is so negative that sometimes we pass on the perception to the elderly people themselves, so that they don't have the confidence to actually tell that they are very active and they can do things. So it's important to change the perception. That's the reason I personally don't believe in anti-aging creams and stuff like that, because again, you're creating stigma about aging. Aging is a graceful process. The sagging of skins, the wrinkle, all of it is part and parcel of aging, which needs to be accepted gracefully. When we talk about anti-aging products, we're talking about always staying young. These are things that are actually not possible and create negative connotation towards aging. Whether people have wrinkles, lines, sagging skin, all of it adds beauty to the process of aging. So that is one way of looking at aging itself. And that's why we promote a concept called active aging. So when we talk about active aging, what we are trying to also say is there needs to be equal importance to physical health and mental health. Just before the introduction of me, ma'am had very beautifully said that how mind and body is connected to each other and they need to work in harmonious matter for us to live a complete good quality of life. Many times what happens is we pay a lot of attention to our physical health, but we forget to pay the same sort of attention to mental health. Both of these, physical and mental health, are very, very important for us to function properly. And especially when it comes to elderly people, physical health has impact on mental health and mental health has an impact on physical health. So both of them needs to be cared and both of them needs to be looked after in a equal manner. So when we talk about active aging, what is it that we are talking about? Nightingale Medical Trust has been running active aging program since 2014, and we have had more than 500 members who are part of this program. So basically what we try to do through active aging program is, first and foremost, is reliable identification of modifiable risk factors. Many of us today, whether young or old, have many modifiable risk factors, which when addressed can actually reduce the risk of conditions such as diabetes, hypertension, cholesterol, dementia, depression. Many of it, the risk of many of it could be reduced by actually looking at modifiable risk factors, and we want to educate elderly people about these risk factors, how to engage in physical, social, cognitive activities, and how to monitor their health regularly so that they can age gracefully and age healthily. So when you adapt an active aging model, when you actually keep yourself healthy and active, addressing physical, social, and cognitive components, what are the things that one can prevent? When we look at the whole circle, there are gamut of things that could be prevented or managed better using active aging techniques. So there's diabetes, there's hypertension, cholesterol, cardiac problems, obesity, stroke, inactive lifestyle, and all of it are risk factors to dementia, which is not at all treatable. Nightingale Medical Trust has a lot of services for persons with dementia. It's a debilitating condition, which is right now of importance for elderly people, because age is a prominent risk factor for dementia. So what we are trying to say is, when you adapt healthy aging practices, you can not only reduce the risk of all these conditions which affects your body and mind, we can also reduce the risk of dementia. So there is a saying, we are what we repeatedly do. So we need to exercise, whether it is our brain, whether it is our muscle. When we repeatedly engage in activity that actually make you feel better, you feel better. As you practice this activity, you feel better. So it is essential to have that sort of a lifestyle. We also call it in neuroscience terminology as neuroplasticity, because even after the age of 60, 65, brain still has the ability to shape itself as per our experience. So it's never too late to begin an activity. It is never too late to learn a new language. It's never too late to age actively. So our brain, our body is capable of that change. So it is all about making up our mind and getting into that change. So if you look at this brain image, you can see the brain after sitting quietly versus a brain after 20 minutes of walk. So you can see that whether it is physical activity, whether it is some sort of an activity, which is highly beneficial for your health, has similar kind of benefits to your brain as well. So small physical and cognitive activities can actually have a long-lasting impact on our physical and mental health. Our hypothesis is that when we talk about risk of brain aging and vascular diseases, especially in elderly people who are having diabetes or hypertension for a long amount of time, there is always some sort of vascular changes in the brain. We call it ischemic changes. If we take an MRI, even of a healthy elderly, there will be vascular changes in the brain. These are prone to happen. It's a natural wear and tear that happens to the brain. We understand that 1/3 of it is genetics, age, things that we cannot change. But 2/3 of it is lifestyle choices that we make. And 2/3 is quite a significant number that we can actually work on, improve on, for people to feel healthy, for people to feel better. So we are saying that there is a need for elderly to have active physical activities. And when we talk about physical activities, we generally recommend 4 days a week, 30 minutes a day. 120 minutes is all we recommend in a week. And when people get that 120 minutes of physical activity, it is so good for the heart. And when it is so good for the heart actually pumps better blood to the brain. So it is good for the brain. That's the reason we recommend 120 minutes of physical activity a week. And we say that it should be combination of 3 or 4 activity, aerobic exercises, wherein your heart gets better flow of blood. So it could be, active, brisk walking that one can do. People who have knee injury, people who are a little obese, I think it is important to understand that knee is actually prone to wear and tear. That's the reason many elderly people, the first thing to complain when they actually, their muscles become weak or their bones become weak is knee pain or hip pain. That's what they usually complain, because when I'm standing, the whole weight of my body is borne by these two joints. At least hip is a broader joint, but knee is a smaller joint. So that really gets affected. So when we're talking about aerobic exercises, everybody can do it, even people who have knee pain. So if you feel like, when we are talking about walking in a park, doing 20 minutes of walk, if you feel because of your knee pain or you are obese or you've undergone some procedure, you are unable to walk, we teach something called as chair walking, wherein you just sit in the chair, wherein your hips are rested, you're seated comfortably in a chair, and you do chair walking, wherein you put your knees up and down, you do the action for walking. You actually burn similar calories to walking normally. In fact, walking sitting on a chair is even more difficult than actually walking on the road. So you can try that. 20 minutes of just sitting on the chair and just going around walking itself is a very, very good activity. Fall prevention is also something that elderly people need to very specifically look into, because elderly are prone to fall, and many times when elderly actually have a fall, they physically recover, but it's very difficult to mentally recover, because the trauma, the fear of falling really sets in, and people have a lot of challenges in moving forward after the fall. So there are some fall prevention activities that could be taught very, very easily, that helps elderly to prevent falls. This could be as simple as standing with both your legs, together. Close your eyes, put your arm out, and stand for about 2 to 3 minutes with a chair or something near to you, because if you're feeling you're swaying, you can catch hold of it. That itself is a very, very good exercise for fall prevention. Then strength and endurance. I am sure that many of you would be practicing yoga. Yoga is one very good way of building strength and endurance. Or we could talk about, simple weights. When we look at weights, people always think it is used for bodybuilding. But endurance is very, very important, even for elderly people. Just picking up a bottle of water, which is 1 liter, and, just going around curling your arms, putting it up. It just not only strengthens your arm, but it also strengthens your core. So it is essential to do some little weightlifting that can help you. Just like, it also will help you to lift your own grandchildren also. So many of the suggestions that we are giving you today, it is just not for your own health, but it will help you to functionally also have a better quality of life. And of course, flexibility and balance exercises also could be done using resistant bands, or using small steppers, or maybe even some stairs which are there in the park. So these are things that one can do with or without instruments, and there are many, many exercises that are available on the internet, or we as Nightingale's Medical Trust give out lot of tips on such exercises that can be safely done at home to keep oneself active. Then, of course, cognitive activities. It is very, very important to also have activities that engage your brain. Right now we see that many elderly are very, very savvy with smartphones. There are games on the smartphones that one can use. One of the simple activities that we suggest for elderly people to keep themselves active is, if you are a right-handed person, try using your left hand. Write a page in a day with your left hand. Try to brush your teeth with your left hand. So these are few things that we actually give out as tips, because usually elderly people have short-term memory issues. They would have met somebody, they would have remembered the face, but they will forget the name. They will have difficulty in remembering, okay, what time of the day, where I was. So these are things that you can actually improve by doing simple brain activities. Like when you pick up a newspaper, try to cut all the D's in the newspaper, all the A's in the newspaper. Keep a timer for yourself. See how quickly you can read, find these words. This may sound very simple, but these are activity that actually really, really works on the brain. Learning a new language is a wonderful, wonderful brain activity. So if you are someone who is Kannadiga, maybe learn Tamil. If you are a Tamil person, maybe you will have friends who speak Telugu. It's very, very exercising for your brain to learn a new language or a new skill. Pottery, painting, drawing, any of it. Many of us may not like colors, may not like painting, but actually just picking up a crayon and drawing anything, however miserable it is, can be a highly enriching activities for the brain, because colors have beautiful impact on the brain. So doing something that you don't like, doing something different, is highly resourceful for the brain. So it is essential to pick up such activities. In our active aging center, we have many memory activities that we do. Few of our members are part of this session. We usually give them 10 words, and then we'll say this is list A. Then we will give another list of 10 words. We will say this is list B. We will mix everything together. We will say, divide the words into list A, list B. Can you tell us what are the new words we have included? So there are many activities that we can do to keep our brain active. If you have grandchildren at home, picking up their book, teaching them, playing some brain games with your own grandchildren, doing Sudoku, doing puzzles. So there are different things that one can do to keep their brain active, and doing something different is a very essential tip. So if you're someone who enjoys reading, who do reading regularly, your brain has gotten used to it. So usually reading regularly may not have that sort of an impact. If you're someone who has never colored, if you do the coloring, your brain actually feels much more blood flow than actually reading a book if you're someone who always reads, and vice versa. So there are different things that one can do to keep their brain active. Then group-based cognitive activities. Human beings are known as social beings. We are meant to be in group. We are meant to do things in group. We are meant to have friends. We are meant to have conversation. So when we talk about risk reduction in dementia or keeping oneself active, it is very important that we need to pick each other's brain. It's an essential thing. So if you look at our photographs, we have not shown anywhere an individual person doing activities. We always do it in group. Why? What is the need for doing it in group? They say if a person is doing Sudoku alone and it is causing 20% benefit to the person, if the person do it with 8 or 10 people, the benefit can go up to 40% when you do it in a group. So that is the impact of socialization. So we usually advise people, if you want to cognitively remain active, you have a good social circle with whom you can interact, can share stories, can do games together, can just really have a conversation. Even the online platform like this, all of you coming together, talking to you itself is a good exercise to the brain. You all are listening to me in a common platform. That itself is a good exercise to the brain. And that is something that we usually promote. And, forming a group, going out, maybe for a trip, going to a zoo, or having a musical chair evening, going for a movie together, all of it is highly beneficial to the brain. Though they may all sound much of a normal activity, in today's day and age, it is actually an effort to get out of your house and meet your friend. And all we are advocating is make that effort. Right? So when one actually follows the physical, cognitive, and social activity, what really happens? What happens is the management, the risk of diabetes, hypertension, obesity, cholesterol, depression, cognitive impairment, all of it goes down. People are able to manage this condition better. And what goes up? Well-being, quality of life, the motivation, social participation, all of it goes up. The own self-esteem goes up, because we see that usually elderly, when they are working, and till today they must be working, and just because they've hit 60, nothing has changed from 59 to 60. Actually, it's just one day has gone, but it is just considered that they can no longer work. That actually has a lot of emotional effect on the elderly. So it is important that you keep yourself active. If you're someone who was working, to keep yourself active, because not being able to work, that emptiness usually gets to you. So it's essential to participate in activities that keep yourself going, so that there is a behavioral change. Whatever we said about 20 minutes of walking, doing a Sudoku, or brushing your teeth with your left hand, we know that these are tips, and it is not easy for anybody to start on these tips immediately. So it is a behavioral change. And this behavior change usually takes time. So it's all about doing it consistently, at least for about 3 weeks, till it becomes a practice. So this is the Nightingale Medical Trust Active Aging Program. So that's what we do. What I mentioned to you, that's what we do. We have members whom we do assessment, then we do risk education, then we put them through cognitive and physical activity. It is about 2 hours a day, 3 days a week, 6 hours is all they have. They do all activities in group, and we try to see that they have better physical fitness, they have better cognition, and better quality of life. That's what we are trying to get at, and better social support system. They watch over each other, have each other's back. If one falls sick, they have a good social circle. And our whole idea of forming the group, there are a few things that we also learned was, we had a group where we had a 60-year-old and an 80-year-old. So when the 60-year-old, we told them, why don't you do the chair exercises for 10 minutes? The 60-year-old used to tell me, oh, I've got knee pain. You people are young. You will never understand how it is like, I'm so tired, he said. And there was this 80-year-old gentleman who was in the same group. He went to him and said, I'm 20 years older to you. I am able to do it. You can do it. So that man really felt motivated. So it is essential that you have a peer group which can motivate you, which can help you to do these activities, wherein age is not quoted as a reason for not doing something. So these are just few activities of our very, very active elders in the Active Aging Center. This is pre-COVID. It was a very, very active group. We had about 100 people who were coming together, doing all of it. I mean, they had so much life, doing skits together, going outing, doing yoga, doing physical activities. So these are different things. And we are talking not from theoretical way, but on a practical way, because we know it has worked. We have seen people's life change. We have seen people being more active, really being appreciative of such programs. So these are just some scientific impact that we were able to achieve through reading the assessment scales of our members. So you can see our results have been very, very encouraging, and we feel that this is the way to go, because there will be more number of elderly with more of medical condition, and we need to really look at ways where people can actually manage their health better. And post-COVID, we had to go online, and we didn't know whether we can continue this program, but we were so amazed that all of our elders took it so easily to come on Zoom and conduct these same activities online. Many of them are still continuing. Right now, our program is completely online. They participate with the same spirit in online active aging. Perhaps we have given them another brain activity of how to go into Zoom, how to be there, how to use that platform for actually participating in physical and cognitive activities. So that is also one way of keeping themselves active. And so what are the general tips that one can have for aging healthily? Is one thing is you have to build strong social bonds. You need to have a good network of friends, family. Even after retirement, it is essential that you have a large social group. We have to keep our mind and body active. There are many medical complications due to which you might not be able to do a lot of physical activity. Forget about that. But there are many activities that you can still do. So the whole idea is about concentrating on those activities and also staying positive. As I told in front, that many times aging is shown in media, or the way it is being spoken, it's shown in a very, very negative connotation. But at least I have been in the field of aged care for past 10, 11 years. If I have learned something, I have learned that aging is positive. I know of people in our active aging group in their 80s, in their 90s, people who are even fighting some deadly diseases, being so positive. And when I look at them, I have a positive influence about aging. If I want to age like how they are, so gracefully, and I don't feel like, there is a need to always stay young or be fearful about aging. So it depends on how we want to really mold our lifestyle when we are at the age of 60. And it's just a number is what we have to understand. So there's one saying that actually stayed with me. It is not the load that breaks you down, it's the way you carry it. So when it comes to diseases, that's what it is. So we all may have different medical conditions that we are dealing with, but it is the way we want to handle it, and it is the way we want to help ourselves. Many elderly tell us that, my children, I have commitment towards my children, I have commitment towards my grandchildren, I have so many things that I need to do, so I cannot spend time for activities or keeping myself healthy and things like that. To them, we always tell one thing: put on your own oxygen mask before helping those around you. You need to be healthy in order to care for other people. An empty glass or a glass with a hole can never pour water into another empty glass. So it is essential that we look after ourselves for caring for others. And with elders, even after the age of 60, when they need care, they are the caregivers. They look after their grandchildren, children. So it's essential that they look after their health. So we need to leave you with few of the messages. It's just not about aging. It's about aging well. And we need to have good mental and physical health. Yes, there are disability, but we have to look at potential. And it's about lifestyle change. It's not about quantity, but quality. And I think this is a line that all of us know. It's not about adding years to life, but it's about adding life to it. Thank you for the opportunity.
Very nice, very nice, very nice. Highly appreciable presentation. Covered everything from care for elders to active aging.
Thank you. Thank you.
Very nice. Thank
you.
you.
Madam, this is PN Murthy here. I would like to ask one question.
Yes, yes, sir.
This you've shown the brain images while sitting and after walking.
Right.
Right? 2 images you shown while
Right.
sitting and after walking. What does it indicate actually? Those images, what is the, what does it indicate?
Actually indicates the blood flow to your brain. It indicates the blood flow to your brain. So it shows that what are the areas of your brain gets active when you do activity, when you do physical activity. So that's the reason what we are trying to show you is when you do physical activity, actually there are physical changes in the brain. Actually more blood is going into the brain.
Okay, I got it. Thank you.
Body and mind. Yes.
Sorry.
Body and mind, they have to remain in harmony. I will say that body is like just like wig of a candle, and mind is glow around it. It has to be all around, and both have to be in harmony with each other all the time.
Yes. And I think that's what we sometimes do forget. One of the things that we always try to encourage is that when people get old, there's one thing that they usually do. After the age of 60, they have these annual blood tests that they do to see whether their sugar, blood pressure, thyroid, electrolytes are in control. There's something else also we recommend. We call it cognitive screening, which is we want to know whether your mental faculties are also well. Many times elderly are highly encouraged to keep their physical faculties well, but to go for a cognitive screening to a psychologist, there is so much stigma and the same importance is not there. Since
Yes.
I've got a platform to talk to you, I would like to recommend that people who are above the age of 60, get yourself a cognitive screening. It is nothing but it tells you whether your memory, language, everything is intact or not. Is there anything that you can do to help yourself? As you're getting a blood screen, there's nothing wrong in getting a brain screen.
Very nice, very nice. Ramani ma'am, you have rightly told that prevention is better than cure. It is a very old proverb which even today we should not forget.
Yes.
Prevention is always better than cure.
I
have a question.
Okay, go ahead. Go ahead. Sorry.
No, I think this was a great session. Thank you, Ramani. And
Sure.
I wanted you mentioned something about online Zoom sessions that you do.
Yes.
So if there are people who are not part of it yet but who want to join, how can we do that?
Yeah, so we conduct something called as online active aging, which is 3 days a week. It's a completely online platform. And people who are not part of it, I can leave a number that they can contact. And we have something called as trial sessions. We have understood one thing, all elders have their own speed and pace.
Yeah.
So,
We
have something called as trial sessions that people can attend. There are 2 kinds of groups we have. There's one group which is a little more faster in doing things, and there's one group which is more basic, We do things slowly because each one is different, of course. So people can look at this trial session and they can see which one they can join. And it's actually put in a very less price is what our active aging program is. If I'm not wrong, it is 600 rupees a month.
Okay.
And
Thank you.
sessions are taken by physiotherapists and psychologists. and there are doctors on board who can help with medical conditions and stuff like that. So people can explore those sessions, and the number to reach and know more about it is 42426565.
42426565. Okay. And this one, you're only present in Bangalore. Do you have presence elsewhere in India?
No, we are at present only in Bangalore, and this active aging program anyway, it's online, so it's doesn't have any physical barriers as such.
No, that I understand. Where in Bangalore are you based?
We have different centers. We have about 13 projects across Bangalore. Our head office is at Kasturi Nagar, and we have branches in Jayanagar, Shanti Nagar, Aarti Nagar, different places.
Okay, got it. Thank you so much.
And just adding to that, what exactly is done in these sessions?
So these sessions have an hour of physical activity, different kinds of physical activity. So one day there might be dumbbell activity, one day it might be resistant band, one day might be aerobic exercises, flexibility, yoga, strength training. So 1 hour of physical activity and 1 hour of brain activity. So when we say brain activity, 1 day of memory, language, story reading, Sudoku, different kinds. So, and then other than that, there'll be social activities, and then there will be talks like these that we regularly organize for the elderly, which is pertaining to their area of expertise.
Okay. So this 2 hours is clubbed in one session, is it?
Yeah, it is essentially 2 hours, one session, 1 hour of physical and 1 hour of cognitive. It is 6 hours of sessions a week.
Oh, 6 hours a week. Okay. Got that. So 3 sessions a week primarily.
Yes.
Okay. And of course, you had
they are
mentioned...
charging 350, I think. I am from basic active aging group. They are charging 350 basic active aging. And then the active aging group is, I think, 600 plus.
Yes.
Murthy, you are there in that group?
Yeah, I'm in that group. I'm actually participating in that. That is basic active aging is Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday.
Okay, what
1
time?
hour of physical. It is 11 to 12 is physical activities, and 12 to 1 is cognitive activities. And as she said, it is different stretch bands and dumbbell exercises and yoga and things like that. And cognitive activities are also very good. That 12 to 1 is also very good.
But online, all this is possible.
Yes.
Online, yeah. Everything is online.
I can say I'm in NMT and I'm enjoying.
Yeah.
Very nice.
They are all enjoying actually.
Thank you.
Very good, very good. Very good.
Ma'am, I would like to congratulate you on chair walking. That is something I think I'm going to try.
Yes, please.
Yes, that is something new. I also heard. I'll also try.
Yeah.
Because I have problem in my knees, so I'll try that chair definitely.
And
please do.
Other thing is, I like the idea of colors helping.
Colors.
Yeah, that also.
Colors.
So, ma'am, in other words, there's a lot of work to be done for aging gracefully, right?
Yes.
Active aging. Active aging.
Okay.
It is active aging now.
Yeah, I'm actually seeing aging gracefully on my screen.
Yes. This is the impact of your sessions.
Speaking of seeing active aging and graceful aging on the screen, it will be nice if everyone turns on their video and we can take a group photo.
Yes.
I think we're all on video only.
Sorry, one more question.
Sure.
We all are on video only.
Yeah.
Okay, is it necessary to take, like, for dementia, is it necessary to take any memory boosters or medicines in addition to whatever you're suggesting?
If people do not have dementia, if it is all about risk reduction, there's no need to take any memory booster and things like that. Scientifically, we are not sure whether it really has an impact. It's all about eating nutritiously, keeping your brain active, keep yourself physically active, talk to your friends, have a good social life. You don't need anything other than that.
Okay.
And I want to say something. My father comes to the daycare in Jayanagar, and I've enrolled my...
This is Jayashree, isn't it? Hi, Jayashree.
Yes. Yeah. Hi. So I've enrolled my in-laws onto the online classes this month only. And it's becoming like a task to coax them to attend. So I've just started with a 1 hour physical activity. Let's see how it goes. But then listening to you, I joined in to see what more can I do to help them. But then listening to you, I'm getting a motivation to, start an active aging center by myself. And maybe for that, I will need your help and guidance.
Sure,
That's
sure.
great.
We
It's
need
very
more such
inspiring.
centers. We need more such centers. There is need where elders can come together, meet their friends, and it is something which is imbibed in our culture, isn't it? If you go to the village side, there'll be one house with a large veranda outside where all elderly people will gather. They'll have their tea,
Yes.
talk to each other. It's part of our culture. We are social.
Or sit under a banyan tree and talk and gossip and all that and
Yes.
enjoy.
Yes, absolutely,
It is.
absolutely.
Yes.
We should do that. We should do that. It's highly beneficial. I think we have forgotten what was there earlier. We all are going back to what was taught earlier. We are aging in
Yes.
reverse right now.
That's good.
Okay,
We
I
are
have
becoming
one more
younger.
question.
We are
Hello,
going back
namaste.
in time.
हेलो हेलो
Yes.
नमस्ते मैं आपको एक बात बताना चाहती हूँ मुझे बहुत अच्छी लगी आपका टॉक बहुत अच्छा लगा and
Thank
I am
you.
also positive and now I am feeling more positive than first.
So lovely, so lovely. Thank you so much.
आपको एक बात बतानी है जैसे आपने चेयर वॉकिंग बताया वैसा मेरा हिप ऑपरेशन होने के बाद मेरे एक योगा नेचुरोपैथ उसने क्या बताया कि हम लाई डाउन करके भी वॉकिंग कर सकते हैं मीन्स कैसे होल्ड हमारे लेग फोल्ड करके ऐसे वॉकिंग करना तो वो मुझे बहुत काम आया और बाद में मेरा ये भी छूट गया स्टिक भी छूट गई वॉकर भी छूट गया स्टिक भी छूट गया अभी मैं घर में तो पूरा अच्छे से वॉक कर सकती हूँ तो दैट इज आल्सो वेरी
Good, good, good.
Very
Very good.
Beautiful.
Very good, very good.
Very nice. And I think that somebody actually put it in the message that they want to know what is the difference between normal memory loss versus memory loss due to dementia. I saw it in the chat. See, memory loss is something that all of us have. Pertaining to our age, there will be some sort of memory loss, right? So memory is something that is connected to attention. When we, as a neuroscientist, I'm just talking, I'll not try to make it very technical. So basically, when I want to remember something, first I have to attend to it. So I should be attentive, absorb the information, understand it, then store it. And then when somebody asks me, I should be able to retrieve it. This is what memory is. Memory is made of all these processes, right? As we age, what happens is attention becomes lesser. We don't pay much of attention to short-term incidences. That's the very reason elderly people usually have difficulty remembering names of the people they would have just met because they're emotionally so inclined to say hello to them. When they would have said their name, they wouldn't have paid attention to actually register that name. That's the reason since elderly people make good eye contact, they would remember the face, but they wouldn't remember the name. So that is also there. And second, when elderly people usually have sleep issues, they do not sleep very longer. And sleep is a very, very important thing to actually make memories. So that also affects your memories when you become old. So how do we differentiate between normal memory loss versus memory loss, which is of a problem? Let me just give you a simple example. Say I have a grandmother. I'm staying in Delhi and I'm coming to Bangalore. I call up my grandmother and I tell her, grandmother, can you send a car to the railway station to pick me up? I come to the railway station and I see there is no car. I call my grandmother and ask, what happened? You didn't send me the car. And my grandmother says, I'm so sorry. I forgot about the conversation. I'm just sending the car right now. This is one way of memory loss. Same thing happens. I see there is no car in the railway station. I call my grandmother. She is talking to me as she never spoke to me earlier. She's telling how long it has been. Nowadays, you don't call only. I tell her, I just called you yesterday. And she says, no, I don't remember having a conversation with you. This is another kind of memory loss. So the point 2, the example number 2 that I told you is more likely to be dementia. So people who have normal memory loss, when coaxed, when given some hint, can retrieve the information. But when people have memory loss due to dementia, it is difficult for them to retrieve the information related to that incident, number one. Number two, people who are having memory loss due to normal aging, they will not forget things that is essential for day-to-day activities, like using a remote, using a smartphone, if they were driving a car, cooking, locking the door, handling their finances. They won't have difficulty in all that. They may forget here and there, but they will still be able to complete the task. But if a person has memory loss due to dementia, they will have difficulty in doing all these complex activities of daily living, like using a remote, a computer, locking the door, cooking, things, managing their finances, understanding the value of money, all that they will have difficulty. So that's the reason just before the question answer session started, I actually requested everybody above the age of 60 to get a memory screening done. It is essential to know whether the memory loss is due to age or anything more.
Okay, that was really
That's
nicely explained. Thank you.
Yeah.
Very nice
clinic, madam,
So
which
there
you have
is
opened.
one more question that has come in the chat from Mrs. Asha Shetty. My husband is having dementia and is progressing very fast. What action I have to take?
So, Ms. Shasha, dementia, how it affects one person is very different from the other. If you feel the dementia is progressing faster, I would really request you to take this outside this meeting. We are here to help. There are different things that we can tell you that can help you. So I would give you a dementia helpline number, which is there like 828, which you can call to get information, any kind of information on dementia. You can tell us about your personal history, and we will give you tips which are personalized. So I'll leave the dementia helpline number with you. It's 8585 990 990. Any issues, 8585 990 990. It's a free dementia helpline. Any issues elderly have about their memory, about dementia, about any mental health illness, you can please call this number. Then this number is manned by psychologists, experts who know about this condition, and they will guide you. So, ma'am, please do call us. We will try to help you.
All right. Are there any more questions?
That DEM clinic which was opened 3 years back, whether is still operational, madam?
Yes, yes, it is operational. DEM clinic is still operational.
Yeah,
we still
okay,
provide free memory screening there.
Yeah.
I have something to ask, but not to Ramani ma'am. I see a participant who's Lalita Rao here. Lalita Rao ma'am is still here?
Yes, I'm there.
Ma'am, were you a teacher in a school?
Yes, I was teaching in Aurobindo school.
Ma'am, I think I was your student then. So
oh, so nice.
Great.
That means I have not changed. I'm still the same. After maybe 30, 40 years. That's nice.
Nice
to
meeting
meet
you on this platform.
I have a question, please.
Yes.
I believe it's very normal for everybody to forget things. But if you remember that you've forgotten something, then that's great. If you don't remember that you've forgotten something, that's when the trouble starts.
Yes.
Is that true?
Yes.
Yeah. It's not so much black and white that way. Though it is good, but any kind of memory issues that is of concern. See, many times we are the best decision makers for ourselves. If you feel your memory issue is of a concern, you feel it is of a concern, there's absolutely nothing wrong to get it checked. That is something that I really encourage. When we feel that something is not right with our body, we don't even think twice to go to a medical doctor, to a physician. Please do the same when you think something is not right with your memory, your thinking, your mental health. There's nothing wrong in just walking up to a psychologist and getting yourself assessed. We should create a normal world where going to a psychologist or a counselor is as normal as going to a medical doctor.
It would be a psychologist and not a psychiatrist?
It could be a psychologist. For initial thing, a psychologist is good enough. Even your own physician is good enough.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Just a question here.
Yeah.
You did mention about the cognitive screening, a certain number or a center.
Sure.
So what is this? The other
So,
gentleman also was talking about that.
yeah. So we have a platform called DEM Clinic. It is DEM Clinic, DEM Clinic. I gave a dementia helpline number. Even that will lead you to DEM Clinic. It's an online platform for elderly people to get a free memory screening done. So basically, we made it online because we understand there's a lot of stigma to actually go to a psychologist and get a memory screening done. Also, people don't make that effort to really travel and go and get a memory screening done. So from the comfort of your home, you can get a memory screening done from a trained psychologist or a social worker, completely online, free of cost.
Okay. That's the same number, right? Whatever you said.
Yes, 8585 990 990. Yes.
Okay, sure.
Yeah. Is there any other questions? I must apologize for turning in late for the talk. I'm so sorry about that.
Is it possible for a person having comorbidity issues to slip into dementia?
I'm sorry, sir. Could you repeat it?
Is it possible for a person having comorbidity issues slipping into dementia?
A risk.
Because I have been finding it difficult to articulate my own difficulties.
Is it? Okay.
I was having a seizure some time back.
Okay.
Some years back.
So, sir, to answer your question, all of us are at risk of dementia, but people with comorbid medical condition definitely have a little more higher risk.
I see.
Right. So if you feel that you're finding it difficult to articulate or you're finding it difficult to find words, right words and all that, I would recommend that you get yourself screened. And if your scores are not normal for your age or anything, we can advise you on how to go forward for it.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you, sir.
I think you're very good if you with us. Really, I don't know.
So thank you, ma'am, for your time.
Thank you.
And we have a lot to take back with us, and most the number that you have given. So we can, in any doubt, get in touch with that number and get the benefit of it instead of suffering in silence.
Sure, please. Thank you. Thank you so much.
And we would like
Thank you.
Just one question.
some more of your time and give us some more talks.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Just one question. Sorry, just one last question. I think a lot of people have, I think post-COVID, there are a lot of people who are having issues with brain fog and not really be able to think clearly, etc. Is there any thoughts on that you'd like to share?
Yeah, so see, with COVID, yes, you're absolutely right that many people have had brain fog, people had difficulty concentrating. That's the reason, actually, if you see, the conversation around mental health has become more after the COVID era, right? So yes, we are still learning the long-term impact of COVID, the lockdown, the vaccination. We are still learning. We really don't know much, but yes, brain fog is a real thing. Post-COVID or post-COVID vaccination, to say so. But then as of now, we understand it's temporary and it does get better. That's what we understand. And I think with respect to brain fog, due to any other reason also, they usually say that good breathing exercises and clean sleeping habits usually help.
What about chemo fog, ma'am?
Sorry?
Chemo fog. Chemo.
Chemo fog, yes. Post-cancer treatment, that is also very, very common thing that people can have. And see, chemotherapy by itself actually causes physical changes in brain. It actually leads to a lot of changes in a person. That's the reason we say that people who are cancer survivors need a lot of physical, psychological, and social support to actually come out of the after effects of chemotherapy. So for them also, as I said, for any kind of brain fog and confusion, clean sleeping habit and good breathing exercises are very, very important. Sleep is the best healer when it comes to good thinking and clean thinking.
Thank you.
So is the active, what I understood is the active aging program is it, you said it's targeted for people above 60 years. But if you look at COVID or cancer, it can strike people of any age.
Correct.
So does
Yes.
Nightingale have support for a wider age group of people, or is it limited to 60 plus?
Yeah, so we actually serve the geriatric section of the society. We are a trust which serves the geriatric section of the society. Our active aging program essentially is for people who are above the age of 60, but we have younger members as well. That is there. And number two, about your question on giving support to people who are not elderly, most of our support is for the family caregivers who are dealing with an elderly person with a condition. So we have support groups and those kind of things. But other than that, Nightingale Medical Trust as such do not have services for the young people other than training and support groups.
Okay.
We do provide training to young people on looking after people who have elderly or medical conditions like cancer and neurodegenerative condition. We have training for that. But then other than that, any direct services are not available.
Okay. All right. So thank you, Ramani ma'am, for making time out of your busy schedule and spending a valuable 1 hour with us.
No
It was very informative, and especially when I listen to you speaking about the accumulation effect in terms of the old aging model and in terms of the active healthy aging, the differences, it was really striking. And what was surprising was the tendency of people to not take preventive measures. So when you put those numbers in front in terms of what could be, there may be examples, but still the numbers of what the cost would look like, that itself was an eye-opener. And then when you spoke about even the risk of brain aging, with 1/3 coming from genetics and 2/3 from lifestyle, that itself shows that it is very much within our choice to at least make an effort towards making a difference to our own quality of life. I mean, there are several eye-opening moments in this thought. So thank you so much for this.
Thank you. Thank you so much. It was really, really nice to have such an interactive session. It was beautiful.
And not to speak, I mean, I am heading towards the geriatrics group. I'm 51 right now. But what kind of, I was stunned by the energy of this group. And it's so heartening to see that and to be a part of this group.
Mr. Muralidhar, I have a small question. Is this program available on YouTube? Or
which
available in YouTube?
This recording, we can put it up in the CTH YouTube channel. But if you're speaking of a program, what program?
No, I'm talking about this recording.
This recording, we can put it up on the YouTube channel. We can certainly do that.
In the Nightingale Medical Trust, is it?
Yes, that will be good.
Yes.
We
that will be definitely helpful.
Because whenever we have some kind of a doubt or something like that, we can go back. Or when we talk to our friends also, we can talk about this.
Yes, those who have not attended could.
They can just attempt, at least listen to this in YouTube.
Sure.
Yeah, sure. We will arrange that.
That will be nice of you, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you, everyone, for making time and attending.
Thank you very much.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Ramani.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ramani.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so
Thanks so
much.
much.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you, Mr. Murthy.
Oh, welcome, sir. You're most welcome.